So the main goal of this talk is basically to some thinking that was going on and some reflection on what it really means for you, for all the company, to be part of the company that is making the liquid software revolution. So I did a talk, it was 3 years ago, but what is liquid software, what it means, and where it goes. And the main point of this one is what it means for all the Frogs employee and what it means to be part of the liquid software revolution. And why it's important to me first is because actually, for some of you that knows, I actually change a lot what I'm doing at JFrog. In August 2013, I moved to the US and I was alone, opening the US branch of JFrog. I was actually sub-renting the office space with the CloudBees. So I was with KK and we were together in Los Altos and doing all the customer and all this relationship. And so at this time, for all the time that I was in the US, most of my work was customer, pre-sales, partners, VCs also that came and tried to give us money, and we said no. But so it was mainly outside. So all the JFrog employee and all the Frog Power was working inside, and I was spending most of my time selling the company and pushing the company outside. Since January of this year, January 2019, so I changed position. I became a chief data scientist. And most of my work, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to change, is to work with you guys. So I stopped going to conference. I don't do much customer and pre-sales. I talked. I spend most of my time with you guys trying to basically optimize the company, try to get the feedback from what's going on inside and listen to you and make JFrog a really, I think, a happy place to be. And it's really so something big happened because JFrog changed. So JFrog changed the company and the environment in which we are, and we changed. Okay, and the main goal of what I want to talk about you is to reflect to you and to tell you exactly where we are going, what's going on, and where we are. So, for example, you had this talk about with Shlomi that was talking about $100 million ARR and a company that is more than $1 billion. So there is a lot of strange things happening in JFrog, as you know. Our CEO is one of them. But one thing that is kind of straightforward about Shlomi is that he cares about the revenue of his company. Okay, and most of the CEO you will meet out there, they kind of what they care about. And so it's true that these numbers are really impressive and you think about it, but a lot of time, especially for techies and people that are doing code, it's kind of far away and kind of disconnected. And I have to say, when I look at the world out there, okay, 100 million ARR, everybody knows what ARR means? Okay, cool. So you see, we even pollute the tech guys with all kind of sales terms and stuff like that. So ARR is annual recurring revenue, okay? It really means that every single year, okay, there is people out there that are giving us on a recurring way every single year $100 million. Okay, and they are not just paying us because we are nice and we are frogs and we are green. It's because they are getting something out of it. Okay, so we really have a big impact on their life, or they will not give us this money. So we have an influence on the world, and we have this strong impact out there, and this number kind of reflects it. So it's a proof of our success, but it's also a proof of the impact and the influence. And when you say that you are more than $1 billion company, and we are kind of way more today, there is not that many company out there that are more than $1 billion market capitalization. Okay, it's a very few number of company, and it's company that are quite big and that have a huge influence out there also. And so as a chief data scientist, there is also some other number that really makes me feel strange about where we went and what's going on. So for example, there is every single day, 12,000 new people that are landing on our website. Okay, that kind of didn't know about JFrog, and 12,000 people that are finding or for any kind of stuff and going on our website. 12,000 unique visitors per day. Okay, it's quite a big number. And when you look at the landing page, it was really fun. The fourth most popular landing page, it's a knowledge based about how to connect to Artifactory when you have a self-signed certificate. Okay, and it happens 700 times unique per day. Okay, it means that every single day there is 700 developers out there that want to connect securely to Artifactory. They didn't have the money to pay for a real certificate, so they pay with a self-sign, and so it ends up with all kind of setup and. But when you think about it, it means our product are making 700 poor people suffer a little bit every single day because they didn't want to pay for their certificate. And so it's just one number like that, but we are influencing and we are really, really impacting the life of a lot of developers. And so I was thinking, how did we get so big? How did we get there? Okay, and so like every good old man, I used to be young and funny. So I'm going to talk about the good old days. So how many of you knew this company and know this company? So this is Alpha CSP. So it's a company that we founded with Arnaud and some other friend in 1998. So it was a long time ago. And what's really special about this company is that in 99, we decided that we wanted to create a platform as a service for G2E application. So it was a BA WebLogic. I don't know how many of you had the chance of playing with WebSphere and all the kind of beautiful G2E application server that existed at the time. And so we were going out and we said, you want to create an application, give us your WAR file and your EAR. We will take care of everything. We will take care of deploying this application on a cluster of BA WebLogic server. We will take care of the data center. We will take care of the monitoring. We will manage all the operation for you. Just give us the application. We will do the stuff. So there was the term platform as a service didn't exist at the time. And so a lot of the tools and processes were actually written by Arnaud. I think he was really, really proud of it. I don't know. But it was in 1999 and 2000. And we had a couple of customers and they were really happy and it was growing. But after 2001, I think all the customer bankrupt, all the customer of Alpha CSP of this platform as a service, they were all new startups and growing and things like that. It was growing fast, but they died. But one of the main thing is that it really, really taught us about what it means to be on the market fit and to be good on time. And since then and after with JFrog, there is a really, really good analogy that I like to use about what it means to create startups. For information, for me, JFrog is kind of my third startup, okay? 3 times in my life, I put my money, I work for a year or 2 years without salaries, and I put all my energy to create something and recruit people and make things, okay? It's the third time, it's gonna be the last time. But basically, it helped me kind of visualize what it means to create startup and to create successful startup. And I really like the analogy of surfing. Okay, what happens when you create a startup is first you need to watch the ocean and you kind of feel like there is a wave coming. Okay, you see it and you feel it. And one of the goals, of course, is to be one of the few that are actually catching and visualizing this wave on the ocean and this need that is coming. And then you need a nice board. You need to get some speed to be at the good speed for the wave and be at the right place at the right time with the right speed to be able to surf and catch the wave. Okay, and this is really all the energy and the technique of catching and creating a successful startup. And with the Alpha CSP, what happened is that we saw the wave of platform as a service. Okay, we saw it coming. We saw that it will be a big, big wave. We created a really nice stuff. We catched some speed, and we ended up 1 kilometer in front of the wave, and the wave was still not coming. 6 or 7 years after, finally the wave arrived, but there is no more alpha CSP, so it's just crash. So basically, being ahead of the market, way too much ahead of the market, with you get into the stall area of the wave, and you don't manage to get the speed, and you don't manage to go. Okay, this is one of the things. And the other thing is that you cannot stop surfing. Okay, if you stop surfing and if you stop watching the wave and catching the wave and turning and getting into it, the waves just pass under you, and you miss your boat. Okay, so this kind of balance at JFrog, it was, I mean, the way we learned to surf the DevOps wave. First of all, DevOps term didn't exist when we created the company. Okay, all this release fast or die, and all this kind of new way of creating software really fast and distributing it to your end user, it didn't exist when we created the company. And we saw this DevOps wave. We saw it very, very early on. We saw what was missing for binary repository management, and we created. Yoav felt the pain inside himself. He started to write Artifactory because he doesn't have anything to do between midnight and 2 a.m. And so he wrote. I joined him. We wrote the code together, and we created this amazing tool that solved a developer pain and started to basically write this DevOps wave. And what happened is that managing binaries and managing the executable of software in this DevOps, so the DevOps wave is quite big, but this specific place and this specific wave of binary repository management, we ended up kind of being alone. Okay, so I don't know if it's luck of persistence, because every VC that we went, everybody that we talked to, everybody told us there is either no money to get into binary repository management, or it's something that's going to be commoditized, and it's going to be, and there is no difference between version control system and the storage store. So we had the luck and the persistence to keep good at it, keep being the best at doing binary repository management, and we ended up on a very big wave that we saw coming, kind of alone. So, as you know, the main one that was with us is Sonatype. So it's Sonatype and Sonatype Nexus, and we ended up, so JFrog and Sonatype being the two main surfboard on this big wave, on this wave that became really, really big. And Sacha Labouret, which is the CEO of CloudBees, is an old friend from the old days of G2E, because he was in JBoss. And we were working together when he was in JBoss since '99. When he came to Israel for a CloudBees conference with the JFrog, he said, "Yeah, I'm really, really happy about JFrog because they are taking care of the dirty bytes." And when I think about it, this is really what happened, is that we take care of the 0 and 1 that make computer run. Okay, and at the end of the day, those bytes compared to source code, compared to all those beautiful Jenkins and all these beautiful Git and all these things that are shining and moving, at the end of the day, the bytes that are going to the runtime and running on either your mobile or your server or things like that, nobody really wanted to take care of them. They just thought that it was a file system, and nobody really wanted to take care of it. So we took care of those dirty bytes, and we own it today. Basically, this is what happened to us. Okay, we kind of own the binary repository management. Okay, and this is one important point to realize: we are the world leaders of binary repository management. If you have a piece of 0 and 1, which is a piece of executable, which is coming from a source code that you build or whatever, the chance that you're going to put it in Artifactory and manage it from Artifactory to go outside, and then today that you're going to do X-ray and distribution and all these things that we build on around it, is really high. Okay, we are really managing the binaries of the world, and being there, being this world leader, and still being who we are as JFrog, It's not a given. Okay, there is a lot of company out there that have very successful product and don't manage to get into the position that we are. What is this noise? You know what it is? Okay, so I want to talk about a story of a very successful technology. Okay, and how it's not that easy to be a big world leader when you are in a big successful technology. So I'm going to talk about a great guy, which is created. So he's a French guy, and I'm going to see why it's important that he's a French guy, which created Docker. Okay, so Docker was created by Solomon, and he's a French guy. And one thing that I learned when I moved to Israel is that, I mean, it happened to me, and I have to say it happened to Solomon. Some French guy out there are a little bit arrogant. I don't know if you noticed. And they think that they know better, and they think that they understand a lot better than the rest of the world. And when I came to Israel, when I moved to Israel, it was in 2000 with Alpha CSP. Being in the middle of Israeli, your French arrogance goes away very, very fast. I can tell you, you cannot live with it for very, very long. So I had the chance of going through this process and getting my humility back and being capable of listening and looking and things like that. But for Solomon, he created a revolutionary technology, okay, which is Docker. It really completely changed the world today. Okay, the revolution that it generated, the growth and the speed at which it happened, and what happened because of Docker out there is really, really amazing. It's really transformative. And he really, really thought that he could own this transformation, that he could provide all the tools and all the systems and all the environment to make the Docker runtime based on the Docker Inc. and the Docker technology, and that he can do everything by himself. And as we know today, basically, it was an impossible task. Okay, he didn't have the humility to realize that it was basically impossible for a single company to own all the runtime of the world. Okay, and he basically Google came in, and Red Hat came in, and SUSE, and everybody came in, and today they have Kubernetes. He really thought that Swarm will be more successful than Kubernetes, and so he got burned. So having an amazing position and having this leader position and keeping it and being out there, okay, and still listening to the ocean. Okay, the main thing that he created a big wave just by himself by making the C group available to Docker, which is to developer. He created a huge tsunami kind of wave, and he didn't manage to listen to his customer, to listen to the pain of the customer, and to be compassionate about the change that he created, and do this transformation. So now at JFrog, it's quite amazing, and it's in our DNA, and it's everywhere. We still are leaders of this world, but we really have the humility to listen to our customer, to still be there. Okay, and there is 3 words that match what I think is that we are big, we are still humble, and we are leaders. We are big, humble leaders. And today, basically, we are not surfing anymore. Okay, and this is the reality. This is one of the main reasons of this talk. Okay, we are not a startup on a surfboard anymore. Okay, we have a big boat. We grew. We are generating $100 million ARR. So there is a huge impact on all those. We are part of the DevOps wave. We are creating the DevOps wave. Okay, and so we have this company have this ability when they get to the size that we are and to where we are going, say, okay, I have this big boat, I'm creating my own waves, okay? And we are seeing it. Sometimes we can actually sell to our customer the wave that we created ourselves, okay? We create our own product, we create and we push our own product, but they didn't ask for it. The ocean didn't create a wave. Okay, the customer didn't really. We are, and it happens. I mean, if you look at IBM and the way IBM is doing their sales, they are selling a lot of time things that customer didn't ask for. Okay, it's just things that they happen to have created, and they think that, and it's sometimes it's good technology, but it's not what the customer needed. And at JFrog, we are still really, really good at watching the ocean, are still listening to the customer, adapting our product, and have the humility to say, wait, the customer maybe has a different need and a different point of view, and I need to adapt to what he wants. And the other thing is that the DevOps wave is gigantic, okay, in terms of money and in terms of things. And we are here owning this wave, having this experience on this wave. And there is a bunch of big ship, okay, which are mainly, so I didn't put the Israeli army, I put the US army because they are mainly American. But there is a lot of big American company that start to see us. We are not under the radar anymore, and they want to take a piece of this cake, okay, and they are creating product, okay. And we need to own it, okay. It's 12 years now that we are surfing this wave. Okay, we have 12 years of experience of what it means to manage binaries, to distribute binaries, to provide binaries to developer, to create the right tagging and flow all the way to the final runtime. Okay, we own kind of this space and we know how to do it. And we should not be afraid of all those big American chip, okay, even if we are all over the planet. And we need to make sure that compared to them, we keep listening. Okay, that's one big difference, that they are creating the tech of the world at the end of the day. Okay, all the cloud, but they are also trying to listen to their customer, but we need to keep listening. Now, it's quite clear where we are. I mean, the size of this ocean, the size of this wave is gigantic. So Mark Anderson from Anderson today, Andreessen investment VCs. So he used to say software is eating the world. Okay, today it's quite clear software ate the world. Okay, there is not a single thing that kind of you do and you spend your day without software, even in any piece of the world. If software stop working tomorrow, a lot of people will die. Okay, there will be no more transportation, no more. I mean, everything runs on software, and it's kind of scary. So we have this event that we did that was launched from Seattle, which is Life is the New Runtime. Okay, it's also that life itself and the life that we are living is the new runtime, and we are asking for software, and we are doing. And so when I talk with my parents or even my brothers, and they see this world which is kind of owned by a computer and software and machines and things like that, they say, oh no, I want to go back to my mission. I want to, okay. Okay, it's kind of scary, but there is basically no other way to do the world today. Okay, we need to own it, and we need to be aware of it. And basically, today, when you say release fast or die, it's actually literally true. So this is some of you know about the story about the dialysis machine in the UK, in the NHS. So in the UK, they had dialysis machine that was working on Windows NT, and they got hacked by the ransomware. And so the dialysis machine basically stopped working. It encrypted the disk and asked for Bitcoin. The people that needed dialysis could not do dialysis for many days. Okay, and people actually died because they didn't update their software. Okay, they were still stuck on Windows NT, and so software is really eating the world, and not being capable of updating your software and creating a more secure software and an up-to-date software is really impacting the life of many people. And And so you can say, okay, JFrog, and I'm a nice frog working at JFrog. I'm creating this world. I'm pushing software. I'm helping all those customers create more software, and I'm helping making this. But actually, what we did and what we do when we work at the customer is that it's kind of systematic. We increase the quantity of software, but we increase greatly also the quality of the software. Okay, this infinite loop, it makes the bug fixing a lot faster and a lot easier, and the quality. And when you think about it, even for young people, I don't know how many of you tried to interact with the government website 10 years ago. Okay, and today you can see that the global quality of software out there increased greatly. We keep complaining there's still some bug, and it's the UX and the UI may be bad, but there used to be completely unusable software out there for very important tasks that you needed to do. Okay, and this is disappearing little by little, and we are doing it. Okay, we are the one that help, okay, millions of developers create their software faster, create their software easier. We are part of this change. We are part of this transformation. And we started with solving developer pain. Okay, and every time we fix a developer pain, every time a developer is happier to work because he's using JFrog product than managing with own file system or doing any kind of competitor product. Every time we are doing this, usually there is an increase in productivity and there is an increase in the quality of the software. And for us, this is another thing that need to change in our mind. Okay, we always want to solve developer pain, which is really, really good. But at the end of the day, if the only thing we were doing is making developer happier, okay, we could sell them drug and they will be happier and it will be the same. If it doesn't have real impact on what they create and what they deliver to their end user, okay, nobody will buy our product. Okay, you don't buy our product so that the developer will have more fun. Okay, it's really because at the end, they are creating things that are better, faster, and more reliable out there. And so, I'm sorry, it's another French story, but it's a good one. I bought a Renault Fluence ZE Electric from Better Place in Israel in 2011, 2012. I was one of the first one. And it was a really, really great one of the first full electric car, the first full electric car of Renault, and one of the first one out there. And they had a replaceable battery. It was really, really nice. But it had only a 90 kilometer of range, but there was a changing swap battery everywhere. It was really, really good. It's a really good car, and I was really happy. And then after a while, it got old, and so after 7 years, I changed it, and I bought a Renault Zoe. Okay, there is no Tesla in Israel. Only Arnaud can get Tesla. So I stick with Renault, and I stick with the Renault full electric. And I have to say, they make good battery. They really make good good engine and good electrical motors. And the handling and the car is quite good. But there is one thing I cannot say about Renault software developer, is that if I want to promote French excellency out there, I will not say, look at the Renault software developer. Okay, when you want to interact with the car and all the systems that are managed by software inside the car, you really feel that it was made by French developers. I know. But so what I was saying about Renault and Renault software, it's actually what we are experiencing today at JFrog, and this is also one of the main change. Okay, we started with the Netflix and the Oracle and all the tech company. Today, Renault is our customer, and Renault is a company that makes car. Okay, they were not making software; they were making cars, and at the end, software is eating the world, and software is eating cars, and we see it all over the automotive industry. Okay, the quality of your software in your car is becoming a critical piece of the environment. And one of the examples, of course, is Tesla. And when you think about it, Tesla, it's a computer and a piece of software, okay, that happen to be a car. They really, really think software first. You buy the car, and because of the software update that you get from Tesla almost every day, 6 months later, you have a better car than the one you bought. You really have a better car than the one that you bought. Okay, the engine itself is running more efficiently or faster. It has better acceleration because software is managing the magnet even inside each and single one of the engine. It's managing the batteries and the way the battery is charging and discharging, keeping the high quality of the battery system. Everything is software. Okay, so it's software that happens to be surrounded by hardware, which happens to be a car. So it's a great car, of course. And so when you think about this kind of change, for Renault as a company and all the people working at Renault, to do this, it's freaking painful. It's very, very hard for them. Okay, they need to become a software company. They need to change all the way from the top, the way they think. They need to say, the software that I put inside my car is not just a side thing so that I can play on my Bluetooth system. It's really need to be part of designing and creating the car. I need to create really high quality software inside my Renault company. And this is what I was saying about watching the ocean and listening to our customer and listening. We have to be compassionate about this transformation. We really, really have to feel that what we are doing, at the end of the day, we are pushing this on them also. Okay, what we are doing to them to push them to release fast, because if Renault doesn't manage to release software fast and to update the software of their car fast in the near future, they are dead. Okay, Daimler is going to do it and everything. Okay, release fast or die is not just something we say to make it sound good. It's the reality. Okay, so we are part of it. We are helping them doing this transformation, but they are suffering from it. Okay, and to go back to Docker, it's a little bit what happened to them is that they knew that they had an amazing technology. They knew that they were doing this transformation, but they were a little bit inconsiderate on the pain and the total amount of disruption that they were generating inside the company that transformed themselves and started to create Docker images and all these things. It's a painful process. Okay, and we have to help them. And so that's one of the main reasons for GAL and the DevOps acceleration is try to bring some cream and some lotion and try to make sure that this transformation inside the customer environment is going a little bit smoother. And so about this transformation, there is always, of course, the next generation, the one that shows how you go. So I took two nice examples. The Israeli jet fighter. So I don't know if some of you know, but so the US is giving money to Israel so that Israel can buy American airplane. So that's the way it goes. So the Israel is buying the American airplane, and one of the first things they do when they get the airplane in Israel is that they replace all the software of the fly-by-wire of the airplane. Okay, so there is Israeli developer that rewrote the fly-by-wire of all the fighter airjet, and they replace it. So the Americans are not really happy about it because they want their software to run and to see how it behaves. But there is a lot of information and tuning that they put in it. And one of the main things that is going on inside the system is that there is actually 3 separate teams that don't talk to each other that is writing the software for the airplane. Okay, and the 3 software are running in parallel all the time inside the plane. And after there is someone that is telling, okay, software number 1, what do you say? Turn right, turn right, turn right. Okay, I turn right. Okay, so if all the 3 software are saying the same thing at the same time, you are quite confident that it's a good action and the airplane is reacting correctly. If there is a dissonance, it takes 2 out of 3, or it just re-put the information again. Okay, so this kind of high level of reliability, high level of security inside the airplane and the fighter airplane is something that we saw also in space and the space industry. So for SpaceX, for example, all the navigation software and all the system is running on multi-core. So it's the same software, but it's still running in parallel with the same input, and it's doing correlation to make sure that everybody's saying the same thing, or it's kind of canceling the data. So what I'm kind of seeing in the future is that this kind of behavior to actually write multiple times the same software that is supposed to do the same thing is going to happen in our life in a lot of more environment. Okay, I don't see why medical devices that are for our life and death should not be developed like that also. Okay, and when you think about it, if you have different software that was written completely differently, taking decision about the amount of blood system and all this kind of environment, it increases greatly your reliability. The way to attack this kind of system, you may attack one, but you cannot attack the other. The reliability and the strength of your old process is greatly increased. So for the future, basically, for a lot of what we do today, and especially with the IoT and in the car industry, even so inside the car and all those systems, it may be that the amount of things that we do at JFrog, which is distributing software, is only 1/3 of what we need to do. Okay, there is only 1/3 of the software that we are shipping to the cars and to all the devices and to all the system. That's just the beginning of this transformation. Okay, the IoT is just the beginning, and we are transforming today, and we are helping the IoT environment to update and do DevOps practices. But even after that, the amount of software that need to be created and the amount of software that need to be distributed is just the beginning. And just for information, from our cloud system, we are today inputting and outputting 1.7 petabyte. Okay, every single month there is 1.7 petabyte getting in and out. It's already a big number, but it's small compared to what's coming. So this is basically where we are. We are in a really big ocean, on the ocean of software creation and software environment. And like I was saying about my brother or my parents, there is no way back. Okay, the way to solve our problem today is not to remove the software of the world, but it's to create more of it. Okay, we need to put more software out there. A lot of the even global warming and all the kind of technology that we need for the future, it's going to be improved improve the efficiency, improved and the kind of things that we can do with software, smart grid and all these kind of things is managed, because we will manage to develop and distribute software to the world a lot faster and a lot easier. So I don't know if some of you remember Sun Microsystem, but Sun Microsystem has to say, why do you give all this stuff away like Java, and why do you give so many Unix stuff away? He said, I want to raise the tide. He wanted to raise the tide of hardware and raise the tide of the amount of computers that existed out there. And he said, if the tide is rising, everybody wins and I win. Okay, and they didn't manage the rising of the as a sun. They should have been called the moon, but they didn't manage this tide rising correctly, and they missed a lot of it. But we are clearly in a huge rise of the ocean. Okay, the amount of software that need to be created and distributed is growing rapidly. And what we are doing this. We are really changing the process at JFrog to make sure that the blockage on the distribution of software are removed. Okay, and we used to have a sentence. So when we invented the terms liquid software and the liquefaction, we knew that liquefaction of software and software delivery will happen with or without JFrog. Okay, it's a demand from the world. The world is asking for this flow of software to go and for this flow of software to exist. But at the end, because of our position, because of the boat, because of the fact that we serve this way for 12 years, if we are not doing it, if we are not changing the software liquefaction process, if we're not helping everyone to actually do it, okay, people are going to suffer. We're going to actually increase the global suffering, a lot of developers and a lot of companies, because at the end, we are already started, we are already there, okay, and we need to continue to do it, and we need to continue to provide everything that is out there. And so it ended up being the JFrog, so frogs of the liquid software revolution. We are all responsible for making it happen. Okay, we are responsible for helping all our developers to be able to do this transformation and this change and being capable of releasing faster. Okay, it's kind of in our hand and in our responsibility. And so when I was thinking about this pressure and this responsibility, I used to be young and funny, but I remember about the time where we wrote the version 3.0 of Artifactory with Yossi Shaul. So we had a lot of customers putting a lot of binaries on Artifactory, a lot of binaries. They needed a lot of in and out and a lot of storage. And we were on the version 2 of Artifactory was managed on Jackrabbit. So it was a Java content repository, which was called Jackrabbit, and it was really, really not handling. And so we said, okay, we need to change the whole storage, the whole underlying storage layer of Artifactory. And we decided with Yossi to do it. We lock ourselves in the Mamad. We rewrote the whole underlying. We knew that once we do that, we will be able to go to high availability and create the version 3.1 with HA and everything. And so we really worked day and night to do this transformation as fast as possible. And I remember thinking that this is it. Once we're going to have that, we're going to put it out there, and all our customers are going to be able to have really high throughput of Maven and all the binary and the RPM that we were managing at the time. And this is going to be good. And after, we're going to be on the top of the mountain drinking coffee, and it's going to be relaxed. Okay? As you know today, this is not the way it happened. Okay? And it didn't happen because we decided, oh, great, there is another great stuff. Let's do some new stuff. It's because the world is asking for it. Okay, we are answering what the wave is asking for us. We cannot stop surfing, and this is the pain of where we are and being a frog, is that we cannot stop surfing. I don't know if some of you heard about the Boeing 737 issues and all the thing. So Boeing is a customer, and they said, I cannot update my 737 with the new software that is going to save life. And I send a request to support, and support say, oh, no, I'm going to do next week because I want to go. Okay, we know it, we feel it. It's happening every day. Every one of our customers, we know that they suffer, and we know that we need to fix their issue because there is real strong responsibility behind and a really strong environment. And one thing that is quite interesting for me is that I realize that what's more important than things, okay, is actually the flow. And this is when people talked about the dirty bytes and the dirty executable and environment. Okay, actually, what we are doing is that we are making it flow. We are really, really making it liquid, and the flow is really a source of strength and a source of life. And if you stop the flow, if you keep the software in one, and if you stop updating it, like I showed before with the dialysis machine, okay, people are literally dying if you don't update the software. And on the other hand, when you do something, when you commit to Git and you get a build and you get something and it gets runtime, and there is an actual human being that is using your new version, your new feature, or your fixed problem, you know that you are part of the flow. You know that you did something good, okay, and it feeds back. Okay, so the flow is really what makes us live and make us happy. And so we created this blender, and at JFrog, for us, it's really, really important when we say customer first, is to make sure that every one of you feel this flow, feel that what you are doing, and feel that what we are creating is actually helping the live flow and helping the human machine relationship. And there is another thing that is going on. And I think it happened with Renault, for example, Renault software. And I was talking with Deutsche Bank and the same kind. There's still a lot of company and a lot of people out there that are part of this flow, like controlling that the software was approved by a list of managers, okay? And they have an Excel and they check that everybody manage it before they go to release to production. They have no way to verify that the software is good or whatever, but this is the process that they have in the bank before something goes to production, okay? And so there is a lot of human beings out there that are part of the flow. They are receiving information from something, they are processing it or not, and they are passing it to the next one. And it makes their job happy, and it's part of what they are doing. But what we are doing and what we are changing is that we are automating this stuff. Okay, we are automating the QA process. We are automating the security approval process. We are automating the distribution. We are automating all those processes. Okay, and some of our customers, when we are doing this, they start to be scared. They said, "Wait, this was my life. Okay, my life was to check on an Excel box all this stuff, and now there is a machine doing my job." Okay, and first of all, it's completely false. Okay, what we are giving them is a tool. It's like you using. I used to walk, and now I use a car. Okay, I used to do things manually on an Excel, and now I use JFrog, and it's automated. I still need to write the security policy. I still need to write the rules of the flow. So I have order of magnitude more stuff that are flowing through my system. I'm responsible for it, and I'm watching it. Okay, and this is one of the things that we're going to have to push forward, because our earliest customer, they were doing this kind of naturally, transforming themselves to push. But today, this transformation is a little bit more painful for them, and we are helping them, showing that they don't lose control. They just increase the speed, but they don't lose the control, and they're still part of the flow. So to kind of go to the next step and where we are going and what it means to be Frog, I want to make sure that everybody remember what is liquid software. So liquid software is basically the realization that we used to put software in boxes. So the customer, they used to get a huge package with all kind of label delivered by a vendor and a software vendor, and inside there was all kind of little package. He was receiving this every quarter, every year, or every 2 years if you were Microsoft. And so you open it, you check every one of the label, you put it on a side computer to test that it was okay, and then you were distributing. This is the way software was created, packaged, and distributed to the customers. And very rapidly, the amount of version increased rapidly, so the amount of boxes increased rapidly, and the size of the boxes reduced also. We started to do OSS libraries, small piece of software, microservices today. So the size of the boxes got smaller and smaller. The amount of boxes increased dramatically. And so to think about it as boxes with the label that you put in the truck, that you deliver to your customer, that is opening it and putting it, doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, it's liquid. It becomes a liquid flow of software. And what the customer needs to do now is that instead of unpacking boxes, he needs to connect to pipes. He's going to say, this vendor, I'm trusting it. I'm connecting a pipe to this guy. I'm going to get my software. I'm going to get inside also all the piping and all the system and all the information. This is the liquid software revolution. And as you understood, as I'm keep saying since the beginning, the amount of pipe that need to be created is going to grow exponentially. The size of the pipe is going to grow. Okay, the security and the strength of those pipe needs to increase also. Okay, and this is what we need to do, is basically to create the platform so that people can create pipe very rapidly. We already do quite good at it, and everybody can create pipe and connect to pipe. To create them a lot stronger, this is kind of the quality first, to make sure that it's very strong and unpenetrable. We verify the quality of the water and the quality of the system, and we make them longer and longer all across the planet. Okay, we really are the plumber of software. we are making this software flow and increasing the speed. And like everything, speed without control, of course, I could put a nice picture of what happens when you have a huge amount of speed and no control. It doesn't end well. So basically, this is where we are going, and this is where we are. And so the people say in the software, you eat your own dog food. So in France, we said we drink our own champagne. So we drink our own champagne. So at JFrog, we use Liquid software to create our own software. Okay, and we feel and we do this transformation, and we are part of the same transformation. And what's funny when I'm analyzing the data and talking to all your guys is that this sense, the feeling of what's going on the market, what's going on in the customer, the change that are needed and things like that, we are all feeling it. You are all feeling it. Okay, everything that I say until now, it may be some realization, but at the end of the day, you knew it. You felt it. Okay, and so this kind of sensing and changing and adapting the way we act and the way we are and who we are as JFrog based on the reality of what's out there is something that we need to keep, that is part of our DNA, and we need to make sure that we keep looking at the ocean and we keep listening to what is out there and adapting our need and being compassionate about the fact that this poor Renault software developer that only knew how to manage boxes now had to connect to pipe and became a plumber instead of a carrying of boxes. It's a painful transformation, and we have to help him and be compassionate about it. And so that's it for my talk. And I want to emphasize one of the main goals of this is to make you realize what we created, where we are, and where we are going. And it's a big change from being in a surfboat than to be on a surfboard, than to be on a big ship in the middle of an ocean and being watched by everybody else. We really changed. We are not the same company, and we are not in the same market anymore. And that's why we took all this nice action of quality first, increasing the strength of the pipe, because we are responsible. Okay, if pipes break, if the flow of software is breaking, there is real consequences out there. So the DevOps acceleration, like I said, is because we listen to our customer, we are compassionate about what they are doing, and we want to help them change. And we do more than our best, like Shlomi said before. This is for me mainly because we care. Okay, when the world out there is asking stuff for us, we care about it, and this is why we are pushing us and growing us. And I see it happening every day and every time at JFrog for every one of you, and I'm really, really happy of where we are. Thank you. So.